Hello, I'm Jeannie Walla. We're talking with Dr. Jennifer Austin Lee, who's a doctor of psychology, who is the founder and CEO of Ignite Reality, and who is also the author of the book Girls, You Just Don't Get It, and is commonly known as Dr. Jenn. Dr. Jenn, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
So, what do you mean by the title, Girls, You Just Don't Get It?
The boys really came up with that title.
Really?
Yes. I interviewed hundreds of guys from 23 different countries. I utilized MySpace. I've got about 64,000 friends on MySpace, sent out tons of surveys. And I said, guys, what do you want girls to know about love and respect? And it was just amazing what came back. Dr. Jenn, they just don't get it that, they're dressing like this, they're doing this, blah, blah, blah.
So the book is directed mainly at girls and their mothers?
The book was written for teen girls, but it is a crossover title. The mothers want to desperately read it so they know what's going on.
And probably the mother would be the impetus for a girl reading it, or a teacher, or a girl's going to find this on their own.
A little bit of both. I have a lot of girls who've already emailed me saying, because the book is not yet out, it will be out in a few weeks, saying, I want a copy just as soon as it comes out, because they're really curious to know what the guys are thinking about all the topics that are going on in teen world.
Okay. So you have a couple of topics that you've got in this book that haven't been approached before, that are taboo.
Yes, one in particular.
Okay, and do you want to tell us the title of that chapter, or is it too taboo to talk about on television?
Oh no, it's in a chapter that deals a lot with sexuality, which of course you need to discuss with teens, and we've just never really talked about in our culture that there are a group of boys, about 25 to 30% of the surveys that came back, the boys said they deeply regret who they lost their virginity to or how they lost their virginity, all the way to the point where some boys started self-mutilating, and that's typically a female way to deal with stress. They were very depressed, and there is certainly not, and I don't want to panic parents, this is not like
Rampant.
Not rampant, but it is a small growing undercurrent of behavior in teen girls. In California, it's called collecting V cards. Girls have sex with virgins just so they can turn to their girlfriend and say, I've got 5 V cards, meaning I've now had sex with 5 virgins. And they're becoming more like boys, and that they're becoming more predatory in their sexual behavior, and it's really damaging a handful of boys, percentage of boys, certainly not every boy, but enough that we need to talk about male virginity. It's just not something we talk about in our culture.
The behaviors that young teens and older teens are exhibiting right now are so very different from the world that you and I grew up in.
Yes.
What's the cause of that?
Lots of different things. The media influence, the corporations are selling sexy to younger and younger girls, and then certainly the internet. Internet porn became so accessible. That certainly has changed a lot the way that we view sex, and we've even taken certain things from internet porn and sanitized it and put it into our normal way of life. There's certain things that I could certainly list that would say you can trace it back to that, and we've got lyrics and songs. It's just becoming a pervasive culture of more sexualized stuff and information that's just so readily available to teenagers.
Have parents changed? I mean, my mother was certainly not saying, you look really sexy in that. Have parents just grown up in a different culture and changed the way that they mother?
I don't know so much if it's that they've changed their way they're mothering. I'm not really hearing from moms saying, oh, I want my daughter to be real sexy. I still hear parents being very concerned about protecting their daughters, but I think what has happened is that with the technology change, with the communication change, cell phones, internet, and whatnot, the old parenting rules, they're outdated. We have a whole new world, and parents are absolutely, I don't want to use the word clueless, but close to that. I mean, they want to help, they want to parent, but they don't have the new tools, the new parenting tools to put in their tool belt. No one's taught them that yet.
And your book will?
Well, I certainly give the teens a lot of information. My coaching with parents is the way basically that I give parents a lot of that. And on my website, one of my new blogs is going to be, probably within the next month, the 12 new tools for parenting.
You know, it's a funny thing because when I first heard this title, Girl, You Just Don't Get It, I was thinking, I've heard that so much more directed in my direction. Mom, you just don't get it. And I'm sure I can't be the only mother I'm actually the mother of a girl and a boy, but I've heard that probably more from my son than from my daughter, and it is something that, I mean, it's difficult to cope in a changing world with what the new mores are, with what the new, like you say, the things that are available to our children that never were revealed to us. I think, just in my own parenting experience, that Barbie, the doll, I credit Mattel with the downfall of how parenting used to be. Do you agree?
Sure, that was a good start, and now we have a new doll out, the Bratz line, BRATZ, and just even looking at the picture. I mean, it's aimed at little girls, and the picture of the Bratz girl. She's very come hither, very sexy, and we are seeing girls as young as 5 and 6 talking to their moms, saying and being upset that they want to be sexy, that they don't think that they're sexy enough. I mean, the age compression is just amazing, and it's interesting that you say that you hear your son saying, "Mom, you just don't get it," because that's the title of the book that I'm now drafting. The You Just Don't Get It series. The next one is Mom, You Just Don't Get It. It's what girls really want their moms to know.
So you also conduct seminars where you have an opportunity for girls to do bonding with their mothers. How effective is that?
Well, I'd like to think that they're very effective. You know, teaching some listening skills, really teaching parents how the brain works. The teenage brain is so different than an adult brain, and just giving parents in layman terms enough information about neuroscience, I think really does help, because then they understand, oh, this is some of the reasons why my teen is behaving the way they are. And then just teaching them about creative play, ways to bond with your daughter. Just the education alone is helpful, and then having experiences that they can do together. They walk away feeling renewed and rejuvenated, and I think one of the biggest things they take away is a sense of hope. Oh, okay, I'm going to have some tools in my tool belt.
Yeah, it's not hopeless.
No, it's definitely not hopeless.
Yeah. And it should be fun. It should be an exciting time of your life. When when you're graduating out of the world of changing diapers and carrying around bottles for your baby, as they grow up, they should become more companionable. And if we're not speaking to one another, that's definitely out of the question.
Oh, it's sad. Well, it should be a joyous time, but I think it is so terrifying for parents because the stakes are just so much bigger. The leading cause of death in teenagers is bad decisions, whether that's suicide, drunk driving, or they made a bad decision and they die from it. I mean, the second leading cause, and it's way down here, is cancer. So, parents do have a right to be scared, but at the same time, I agree with you, it's a joyous time. It's, your child's growing up and turning into an adult. So how can you take the teen tantrum years and make them more fun and enjoyable? And that's part of my job.
Yeah. We had fun when they were 2 and they were having those little tantrums. Why can't we enjoy these?
Absolutely.
We are going to take a little break, and then we'll be right back and talk about more from Girls, You Just Don't Get It, and Dr. Jenn. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.